The triple aspects of the goddess. The feminine principle of nature is represented by the goddess of the moon. As the moon goddess, she is seen in three aspects, represented by the new moon, or the first crescent, the full moon, and by the dark of the moon. These aspects also represent the past, the present, and the future. She rules all three realms as well: the heavens, the world, and the underworld. In the first aspect, she is seen as the white goddess, and she's represented by the crescent moon. The crescent moon represents salvation for her initiates. The salvation is found by taking a new attitude towards the power of instinct. This involves the recognition that instinct in itself is not human, but belongs to the non-human or divine realm. It is the manifestation of the creative life force. At the first crescent, the goddess is shown as a divine being who is aware of the creative life force and who uses it in a productive way. The first phase is a time of beginnings. The main character of the lady in this aspect is that of a virgin. Virgin in the true sense means unused. And although she is a virgin, she is also the goddess of love. Men are very attracted to her in this phase. She does not use her instinct to capture or possess those she attracts, nor does she reserve herself for any one man. She is neither the wife nor the mother, but the maiden. As virgin, she is essentially one with herself. Her divine power does not come from any husband god. There is no need to answer to anyone, as she bears her divinity in her own right. She is the ancient and eternal, the Virgin Mother of God. Athena, Artemis, Vesta, Jana, Diana, Adriani, Isis, Venus, Bridget, Aphrodite are just a few of her names. She is often represented as a tall, golden hair, blue-eyed, and pale of face. The dove, the palm, and the seashell are some of her symbols. The full moon represents the Great Mother. She is the bringer of fertility and maturity. She rules the earth and its many plants and animals. The bee is her intermediary between the plants and animals, and as such is a special favorite of hers. In early matriarchal societies, the fertility of animals and women was of great importance. Because they worshipped the Great Mother, they were ruled by a queen. The queen only ruled during her childbearing years and often had many husbands. When she reached the end of her childbearing, she stepped down for a new queen, the Virgin, and then became one of the wise women. In Babylonia, she was Ishtar. In Greece, she was Rhea, Gaia, and Demeter. In Rome, she was Ceres, Maya, and Tellus. She is the Greek Anis, the Irish Bridget, and the Egyptian Isis. She is also known as the Green One and the Lady of the Beasts. Within the Great Mother are all three of these aspects. She is the Virgin, the Mother of Life. She is also the wielder of the destructive powers of nature. The third aspect of the goddess is represented by the dark of the moon. In this phase, she is the personification of a natural force. That is her effect, as though she were a force of nature. She is the goddess of storms and destructions and the terrors of the night. But she is also the goddess of the creative activity within, the giver of visions, she is the goddess of prophecy and divination. She is also the goddess of fate. The goddess in this aspect uses the cold-blooded attitudes of unconscious instinct, instinct that is neither bad or good, but non-human, the animal-like at oneness with nature that is unbroken by human awareness. The black aspect of the goddess is quite often seen as the terrible mother who devours her young. Kali of India and Hecate of Greece are but two examples of this awesome phase. In this phase, she is the queen of the underworld and of the dead. It is in this aspect that she takes back into herself all life in order to fulfill the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The terrible mother is the hungry earth, the earthquakes, the hurricanes, and the volcanoes, all the destructive forces of nature. She is the tiger, the vulture, and the hyena. The raven is her special bird. Hers is the time of the return to where all life began, where it is cast out again into a new birth, in order to die again and to be reborn into that endless cycle. In this dark aspect, she rules the underworld through which all dead must pass and be judged, to go back to an old cycle or to pass on to a new and higher existence. She raises the skull filled with blood to her lips, while standing in a river of blood, with the necklace of skulls around her neck. She demands sacrifice, so that in her role as the Great Mother, she may give birth to new living creatures in a process of unceasing generation. In reality, it is not easy to distinguish the aspects, for they all flow back and forth into one another continuously. The white or the first aspect represents birth and initiation. The green or full moon aspect represents fertility and maternity. The black or dark of the moon aspects represents death and rebirth. The moon is the place of generation, for she is the giver of fertility. She is the place of the dead, for it is the moon that they go when they leave the earth. And she is the place of regeneration, for she gives both rebirth and immortality.
Thank you for reading out of the teaching book on the Triple Goddess.
You're welcome.
As always, we appreciate you. And if you're enjoying what you see, like and subscribe.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you soon.